as someone who finds it difficult to watch movies and enjoy nowadays, I felt when I saw Glass Onion Knives Out, I thought, wow, here's a refresher. You remember in 2020, was it 21, when the first Knives Out came out, and you watched it and you're like, yo, this movie is different, and it felt different, and it felt nice. It felt like it had been a long time since you had seen a whodunit that was not called Sherlock Holmes, and in this instance, it felt like something different when we, watching James Bond coming in, acting as a comedian. It was a fun little satirical movie that you could watch and enjoy. Captain America was in there. I mean, it was really overdone. It had a lot of plot holes, but it was something of a breath of fresh air to watch on TV. So when I saw that they were making the second one and it would be available on Netflix, I couldn't wait. I was like, yo, Netflix finally has a movie that we can all enjoy. And who does not want to see James Bond acting in something else? I, for one, was irritated by Daniel Craig's accent, preferring the British brute to this guy, Benoit Blanc. But just like many of Netflix subscribers, I decided to put out the Glass Onion in hope that it would be a good escape for me like its predecessor. The movie's opening scene was a very big red flag already. If you remember the first Knives Out, the opening scene in that one is, but in this one, we get introduced to the characters and none of them really offer anything worth holding on to. If you remember in that glass, in that one, it made sense. I like the idea that they infused the pandemic into it, but still, it lacked quite the taste that COVID brought with it. That would be significant. So I like that they tried to incorporate having the pandemic because the movie was shot during the pandemic and just trying to showcase this. So it's set in 2020. All right. This is significant to the movie because of a lot of things that will happen that I want you to show. I'm like, maybe the people who wrote about it forgot about it, or maybe it was taken out in the edit. So the plot of the movie goes like this. During the COVID-19 pandemic in May 2020, Miles Brown, billionaire, co-founder of the technology company Alpha, hosts a murder mystery game at his Glass Onion mansion on his private island in Greece. He invites 5 friends: Alpha head scientist Lionel Toussaint, Connecticut Governor Claire DeBella, a controversial fashion designer Betty J, men's rights streamer Duke Cody, and ousted Alpha co-founder Cassandra Andy Brand. Famous detective Benoit Blanc, who also has an invitation, joins the group along with Birdie's assistant Peg and Duke's girlfriend Whiskey. Leonardo da Vinci's early 16th century painting Mona Lisa, which is featured in the film, Miles questions Blanc's presence but lets him stay, assuming that another guest invited him as a joke. Blanc overhears Peg confront Miles over a PR statement he wants Birdie to release and sees Duke watch Whiskey in bed with Miles. Before dinner, Miles shows off the Mona Lisa, which he is loaned from the Louvre, and reveals that the Glass Onion is powered by a hydrogen-based alternative fuel that Alpha will launch imminently despite Lionel's and Claire's safety concerns. Blanc solves Miles' murder mystery game immediately, then privately warns Miles that he is giving his guests an opportunity to kill him. Andy storms off after an argument while Miles and Blanc rejoin the guests. When Duke collapses and dies after drinking from Miles' glass, the panicking group suspects Andy. After the group discovers Duke's pistol is missing, the power goes out and everyone splits up in the chaos. Blanc finds Andy, but an unseen assailant shoots her. Blanc gathers the rest of the group and announces that he has solved Andy's murder. An extended flashback shows that Andy died supposedly by suicide a week before the trip, and her twin sister Helen, hired by Blanc to investigate her death. At Alpha, Andy held Claire's development for being unsafe, and so Miles had her removed as CEO. This maneuver was supported by her friends perjuring themselves by testifying that Miles single-handedly sketched out the plan for Alpha years ago on a napkin. Andy later rediscovered the original napkin, which was written by her, and emailed a photo of the evidence to the group. And with the napkin now missing, Helen suspects that someone in the group killed Andy and took the napkin to gain favor with Miles. With Andy's death yet to be publicized, Blanc and Helen pose as Andy and Miles party, helping him investigate. Helen helps Blanc discover motives for Miles' friends to protect Miles from Andy. Lionel and Claire have staked their reputations on Claire. Miles is financially rescuing Birdie from fallout for employing child labor, and Duke is using Whiskey to seduce Miles in exchange for Duke joining Alpha News. Helen also discovers that Miles' friends visited Andy's home on the day she died. Helen disrupts the party so she can search the guest rooms but does not find the napkin. When Helen is shot, Andy's journal in her pocket stops the bullet. Blanc feigns her death so that she can secretly search Miles' office. Now, there's a video done by Mr. Beast of trying to stop how many papers can stop a bullet. But anyway, it's a movie. Blanc reveals that Miles committed the murders. Miles killed Andy after learning that she had the napkin, but Duke saw Miles' car leaving her house. When news of Andy's death was finally released online during the party, Duke realized that Miles was responsible and attempted to blackmail him into getting him on Alpha News. This prompted Miles to poison him, exploiting his allergy to pineapple, and to snatch Duke's pistol, which he shot Helen. Helen locates Andy's original napkin in Miles' office and reveals herself to the group. However, Miles burns the napkin, eliminating the evidence against him. Helen begs Miles' friends to testify against him, but they refuse. Blanc tells Helen that without evidence he is powerless, but secretly passes her clear. In cathartic anger, Helen destroys Miles' glass sculpture, with Miles' friends joining in. Helen lights a bonfire and throws clay into it. The explosion destroys the glass onion. Finally, Helen exposes the Mona Lisa to the fire, realizing that the painting's destruction will reveal the clay is dangerous, ruining Miles. The group decides to testify against him for his crimes. At the beach, Helen and Blanc watch the police boats arrive. Now, there are a lot of questionable ideas in this movie. Why did the villain keep the letter? If COVID was a thing, why would Andy let him in? Because if you remember, during the pandemic, people were so paranoid to the point that no one was letting anybody near their house. You know, the thought of you going to someone's house would literally result in someone calling you and being like, do not come to my house. I can feel you thinking about it, right? So what are the odds that, you know, Andy would have let this guy into his house? So this is something that I felt they could have played with, but it's a movie. What are the odds that her friend showed up and didn't hear Andy's car running? Because remember, they say that she died in her car after taking the pills or something like that. And we're supposed to just believe this. I asked the question, is Glass Onion that bad? Yes, it is. This was such a waste of time and talent. The whodunit genre is supposed to be fun and making you wonder who actually done it. But in this case, it seemed like nobody done it and only Miles had the motivation to kill Dave Bautista and Andy. And the movie of sorts gives you this hint from the beginning, which is different from the first one. In this one, the writing is a bit weak because I feel like either the pandemic really affected these people, so they didn't give us a perfect story, like a beautiful story that you can follow and make you think. In this case, there was no thinking. Like everything was just there. Like it made no sense. Why would they kill Andy? How Andy does have a twin? Like, why is this significant? How can they not tell? Like if Miles knows she's dead, it means that when she showed up, at least be shocked or something. Like, why would you tolerate her when you know you killed her? You know, things like that. I just felt like they could have done a better job, but it's Netflix's #1 show, so it means people are watching it. But I think if you watch, the question when this show is go #1 is, what's really the satisfaction rate? Because I don't think a lot of people were satisfied with what they watched, and I for one was not. And I now struggle with these Netflix shows, because this movie, I feel like it's another one that missed the mark. But anyway, it was a good piece of entertainment. If you're looking for something to watch that's a little bit better, I'll recommend you watch Bullet Train on Amazon Prime. That movie is just something else. And yeah, if you're somebody who likes movie reviews, I did a review on Black Panther and I did another review on Avatar. See you in the next one.